to Inside the Ring, boxing's official show of record. I am your host, Max Kellerman. Joining me to my right, this is the former heavyweight contender and current world-class boxing trainer, Malik Scott. There you go. Say hi to Malik, everybody. To my left, our in-house snitch, Ring Magazine senior insider, Mike Coppinger.
Who tells it all.
And then to Mike's left, big-time NFL athlete, even bigger-time boxing fan, former all-decade running back, LaShawn Shady McCoy.
You getting better with this thing, Max. I like that.
It is time for the lead hook. We start with the fight of the weekend. Undefeated number 3 ranked lightweight in the world, Raymond Muratalla. Muratalla, I knew you were good. I didn't know you were this good. He won a very close fight against the number 5 ranked lightweight, Andy Cruz, by majority decision. Understand, people, Ring Magazine rankings, that means you don't have to worry about, well, this sanctioning body has these 10 guys, this sanctioning body has another 10 guys. If you're the number 3 lightweight, maybe you're really the 15th. No. These are they rate everybody in the world. These are the number 3 and 5 lightweights in the world. One judge had it 118, 110,
yeah, that was
guys.
That's crazy.
I have no problem with Muratalla winning that fight. I did not sit and score every round. I watched the fight last night late because I was working a fight this weekend. But I got the impression Muratalla maybe won the fight by the end. That decision to me could have gone either way. It could have been a draw. It'd have been okay. What do you think of the decision?
Well, I did score the fight live, Max, and I had it 114, a draw. Okay. I had no problem whatsoever with Muratalla winning it. I thought it could have went either way. If you're looking at it, piecemeal, I thought Muratalla had the bigger moments in the fight and probably won his rounds more clearly than Andy Cruz. Of course, he was the one applying the pressure coming forward. 118, 110 is just not in reality. 116, 112, no problem.
Let me just say one thing about that. I know that boxing fans get upset when they see 118, 110.
Yes,
you saw
do.
the fight, it was close.
That's right.
I just want to say something. The way that is frequently a function of boxing scoring more than bad decisions by the judges. By that I mean, if you win a round by a tiny bit or by a lot, it's 10-9. It's a stupid way of scoring, right?
Yeah,
if you watch a football game and Team A is beating Team B by 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and Team B is beating Team A by a field goal in the second quarter, at the half it's 14-3. It's a blowout, right? But in boxing, that's a tie game at the half because each round is basically judged the same.
It's a binary system, right? Yes or no?
Right. It's like the Electoral College, Mike. Right. So is it, in fact, a terrible score? Or could you see a world in which one judge consistently favored Muratalla by a little bit each time, but then you don't give up makeup rounds. It's not like, well, I gave the last close one to Muratalla, I'll give this one to Cruz. You just say, look, I like Muratalla again. Is that possible?
Yes, that is possible, Max. Yeah. You are absolutely right. And as someone who's scored, obviously not officially, but done it on broadcast and unofficially, and you're paying attention, you're right. If you're favoring the guy that's coming forward and maybe landing the bigger, harder shots versus the guy in Andy Cruz is more elusive, maybe makes the guy miss more, and that's just what you like as a judge, you could have it 120, 108 and still be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. 118, 110 does not reflect the fight.
I had it 114, 114. I was happy with which either way that fight
went.
I was very impressed with Muratalla. I was very impressed with the calmness he had going forward. And don't forget, we saying all this about him. Andy didn't fight a bad fight.
He did a
very good fight. Usually when a guy is dominant like that, and when I'm saying he was dominant, he had the more bigger moments in the fight, like Mike said. But you still have to give credit to Andy because he was competitive the whole time, going back and forth in the pocket, trying to counter. At times the shots landed, but Muratalla was better.
I consider that a legitimately great fight, and I'll tell you why. When you have 2 fighters, like Andy Cruz is a former Olympic gold medalist.
Mike McKellum type thing?
Gold medal in the Pan Am Games, I think more than one. Like, he is a decorated amateur.
He beat on Davis 6 times, 6-0.
He's just an excellent fighter. And when you see a guy like that fighting well, you watch him, you go, man, he's fighting well. And the other guy still beats him?
Right.
Like, that means they're just contesting it at a high level.
I will say this, though. He's a problem, and the way he fought, right? Because you think of a pressure fighter that don't have a lot of defense. He did. There was times where he was showing his defense. He was way more active, I think, in different rounds. I just think he won the fight. But if he was a draw, I was okay with that because Andy did fight really, really well.
Meantime, let me say this about Muratalla. And I should know better coming out of Robert Garcia's gym, right?
Yeah.
I knew you were good. Muratalla, I knew you were good. I didn't know you were this good.
Robert Johnny trying to warn us.
Usually a pressure fighter doesn't have a plan B. So if you can stop the pressure fighter from pressuring you, you can beat him. Muratalla is a multi-dimensional pressure fighter. He does not need to pressure you to box well. He's going to be like if Shakur win or lose to Teo, when Shakur goes back down to lightweight as he says he will, if he does, Muratalla is a problem.
But have you seen what Robert Garcia was talking about in the corner? Like, let's keep the pressure up, right? Because you could tell when Muratalla after the fight, he said, you know what? I didn't really feel his power. Andy has to go back down to 130. 130.
His face told a different story.
But the thing, that's cool. Everybody marks up different. I don't care about that part. What I'm saying, you can see that that it wasn't phasing because he kept walking him down. And like he didn't really respect his power. And after the fight, it made sense. Something like, dang, Robert Garcia keeps saying, hey, we need more pressure. We need more pressure.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to crack at the end. And then we heard the interview after the fight. He said, you know what? Andy's power didn't affect me at all. So it makes sense.
You know, when
And it looked like that.
It looked like that.
It looked like that.
When Dana White says in the UFC, when the best fight the best, this is what happens. It's like a UFC fight, this fight, because the best is fighting the best. There's no title on the line, really, right?
The best is fighting the best.
This is the third best going into the fight lightweight in the world against the fifth best lightweight in the world, at least the fifth most accomplished. I think what it produced coming out of this fight is clearly, if Shakur Stevenson is the lightweight champ or the number one guy, this is clearly now his number one contender.
We're not going to get around that. No way.
No question. And I want to say, Max, I'm with you. I knew he was good. I definitely did not know he was that good. He really impressed me. I underrated him clearly. And I want to go to your point, is these promoters, and in this instance, his promoter is Top Rank, they just baby these fighters way too much. This was Muratalla's 24th pro fight. So he needed someone like that to bring it out of him. Yeah, right. It was Andy Cruz's 7th pro fight. All right. Yes, he had a decorated amateur career, but
but he was such a decorated amateur that we've seen in recent years, especially. Guys Loma came out. He wasn't the only one who's come out and early on they can fight top fighters.
Don't you think, Max, that maybe we could see guys, taking up these kind of challenges at their 12th fight or their 15th fight, not 24?
Why rush though? Why rush?
Mike's not saying they should be fighting for a world title, but he's saying like they put the test up a little bit earlier.
And by the way, maybe this is not as the best version of Andy Cruz because he's not there yet in his career. Maybe Andy Cruz goes to school on this fight and gets better from this, right?
It was that type of fight that fighters usually get better from. Muratalla, what I was impressed with the most, this is what I wanted to say, is usually when guys are going forward, I know we all saying we knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good. I knew he was a very good come forward guy. What I didn't know was him going forward. He don't just go forward with a robot attitude. No, he's going forward with skills. We talk about that a lot. Like people used to get Julio Cesar Chavez misconfused like that. Chavez was a pressure fighter, but he's pressuring coming from an angle here. He's pressuring coming from an off the line jab here.
Half step back so the other guy extends and then is able to be countered, right? By the way, Emmanuel Stewart used to tell me, you watch, because he trained Chavez toward the end, but he said, you watch Chavez in the gym, he's dancing around. Like Chavez could box. He didn't really apply those boxing skills in any way but aggressively.
But he had his bag on.
But he had a bag. He had a bag. For sure.
And what impressed me about both guys, especially Muratalla, is it felt like every single time Andy Cruz came with a good combination, Muratalla came right back.
Let me tell you something that Billy Kahn's son told me once, okay? Billy Kahn, for those of you who didn't know, turned pro as a lightweight as a teenager, right?
Remember, you can't hide.
That 1930s we're talking about. Turned pro as a lightweight. He's once sparred Max Baer, who was heavyweight champion. After the session, he's asked Baer, do you have any advice for me? And Baer told him, don't grow into a heavyweight, right? But he got to be a world-class fighter at welterweight. He was still maybe a teenager. Now he's like 20 years old. He's beating all the middleweights. Yeah. He eventually moves up to light heavyweight in his early 20s, wins the title. Then he moves up to fight Joe Louis at heavyweight.
Crazy work.
First, he beats all the contenders to get the title shot. They didn't just hand it to him. And then he was beating Joe Louis going into the 13th round when he went toe-to-toe with him and got knocked out in Louis's prime. Right? Billy Kahn was
like that, yes.
Like that. And what his son told me once was, my dad used to say, if you are undefeated, by the time you fight for the title, something's wrong. It means you never learned what you were supposed to learn. Billy Kahn's son told me that his dad, that Billy Kahn used to tell him that, okay? He told me this 30 years ago, probably. Andy Cruz is now no longer undefeated. Yeah. There is a chance that he becomes better than he would have been otherwise because of this loss.
Yes.
All right. It was a historic night in Las Vegas Friday with the premiere of Zuffa Boxing. And I don't know if I even need to say full disclosure, I am involved in Zuffa boxing, okay? There were lots of good fights, but let's start with the main event. Callum Walsh made his middleweight debut against Carlos Ocampo and won going away on points. Cop, Walsh is a middleweight in Zuffa because Zuffa does not recognize the junior divisions. Now, I have seen Cliff Roll, my friend Cliff Roll, tweet about this, how actually traditionally boxing did have junior divisions, and people make too much of that. That's actually not exactly true. Cliff knows this. But what happened in boxing was there was a junior welterweight division that was recognized in the 30s with Barney Ross, and then again kind of in the 60s with Carlos Ortiz. But generally, junior weight classes have not existed in boxing legitimately, like where they're considered legit, until the proliferation of belts in the 1970s. That's really when it started, and it got worse in the 80s. So going back to the traditional, whether you want to call it 8 or 9, or if you want a super heavyweight division, 10 weight classes, it ain't 17. That's why Walsh is fighting at middleweight, because there ain't no junior middleweight in Zuffa. What did you think of Callum?
Right, and that's totally spot on. I believe there are 8 divisions right now in Zuffa. Callum Walsh, look, he has a great personality.
Good dude.
I was impressed by the way his footwork looked, his jab, his boxing ability. I would have liked to have seen him be more aggressive against a guy like Ocampo, who I thought was there to be knocked out potentially. But Ocampo didn't really do many favors, in my opinion. Ocampo didn't come forward with his usual reckless abandonment, his nonstop pressure. He didn't throw a lot of punches. He is awkward. So I think, they say win this time, look good next time. Well, that's now 2 in a row for Callum Walsh, where he just won and didn't look good necessarily.
Yeah.
But I still think there's more to be had for him.
That one was better than the Vargas
No
fight,
question.
though.
Yeah,
That was
no
better. He
question.
came out, took the initiative right off the rip. I know it was the microphones, but right off the rip, they came out winging.
Yes,
Callum
they
took
did.
the
Yes, they
initiative.
did.
I was like, oh, they going right at it. I think after 3 or 4 rounds, he made up his mind, like, okay, I'm not going to knock this guy out. And he's mentally settled for that. And what do I mean by that? He didn't take enough chances. I believe I heard Max and Andre talking about he's in the type of situation where you could push the envelope.
Yeah.
Like it's more
That's what I'm
here.
saying. That's what I wanted to
Andre
say.
was
You know,
saying
and I
that.
mentioned during the fight, Mike brought this up to me before the show. People are apparently on me. I don't care about making a comparison to Roy Jones.
Come on, I knew the difference, but I had to get at you a little bit.
But look, by the way, part of it is a lot of people are very low comprehension, right? So they don't. Let's just be honest. They don't. But also, I have to think if enough people get it wrong, maybe I didn't communicate it strong enough. So, in case you are low comprehension, what I am talking about when I compare, I didn't compare him favorably or like. What I said was, Roy Jones fought in that style, meaning he didn't throw jabs.
Pop shots.
He pop shot
with none of this. Just listen, Shady.
And he could get away with it because he was superhumanly talented. And that no one else is Roy Jones, and certainly Callum Walsh is not Roy Jones.
Sure.
Now, after the fight, Callum Walsh said it's not Roy Jones, it's Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah, right.
But Calzaghe threw a much higher volume of punches. Roy would come in with power shots that were lightning fast, and it looked to me that's what
Calzaghe
Callum was
would do
doing.
more.
Or
Calzaghe
Sergio
would do
Martinez.
more.
When you don't comprehend that well, and you say Roy Jones, everybody's like,
Yes.
right? So to your point, there's this
Especially
weird
like
thing.
Shady and you, I'm like, oh, I know I
get
hear
it.
Max say
But
that.
there's this weird thing in boxing where you use a classic example to show this is how this guy does something. He throws a jab, like let's say you would say Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
You don't mean his jab is as good as Larry Holmes. You mean the way he throws it is reminiscent of that.
But the way Callum did nothing was reminiscent of anything with Roy Jones.
Well, no, but he was
Like
fighting on the
nothing.
perimeter, getting in and out,
Pop shots.
and winging, like whistling hooks, but it was 1 or 2 at a time.
And way out of range.
He was out of
way
range,
out of
and
range.
he didn't use a jab.
Different zip code.
The main thing is he didn't use a jab. Like Roy famously did not use, like a lot of times, Vinny Pazienza shorty jab, but a lot of times Roy wouldn't throw a
he
jab.
wouldn't throw a jab.
He got critiqued about
in
that too
in
a
the
lot.
corner, they're like, set your stuff up.
It's Zuffa boxing. It was the first event, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see more. Everybody's talking
wanted a
about
statement. You wanted
right,
a
make a
statement.
statement.
Yeah, make
You're
a
supposed to stop that guy, and I feel like he didn't push the envelope.
No, he settled.
Come on.
By the way,
he knew he was going to win. He knew he was going to win.
Ocampo
He wasn't the
retired.
same. He wasn't the same Ocampo though. It didn't seem like, at least to me, the pressure guy, the tough
That
work.
fought
That was
Fundura.
not.
Yes, that fourth
He
Fundura. wasn't good.
retired after the Tim Tszyu fight and was talked out of retirement. He did not seem very confident to me at the fighter meetings.
No, he did not.
And he did not fight with passion to win. He fought a professional fight, but not the kind of fight that you would think a guy needs to fight with passion in order to win the
He
fight.
didn't sell out, so to speak.
Right. He needed to, at a certain point, if you're down, not in the second or third round, but it's the 7th, 8th round, and you're way down on the cards and nothing's working, you got to throw caution to the wind. Yeah. All right. So listen, Callum Walsh, I thought overall he's had a deep amateur career. He has a bunch of amateur wins. He won tournaments. He traveled internationally. He's now undefeated as a pro. He's gotten good experience. Where is he right now, do you think?
Well, I think he's developing, and I want to see is on Zuffa this Sunday, right, Max? We're going to be in Vegas. We have Radzab Butayev and Sergey Boyachuk, 2 junior middleweights that are also moving up to 160 because there's no junior middleweight division.
That is going to be a war.
Fireworks.
A war.
Yes, and I want to say.
And by the way, I say I want to be careful because it's a Ukrainian against a Russian.
I think it's the first one. I think it's the first notable
one.
Big guns blasting.
I mean, that's the terminology in boxing. They are going. I mean, Butayev comes forward, throws punches.
It's going to be a crazy war.
That's going to be
like
crazy.
John Morant war, like everywhere.
That is a can't.
That's a can't miss fight.
That's a can't miss fight.
So I bring that up to say, if Callum Walsh is ready, I want to see him versus the winner. Then we're going to know where he's at.
That would be a big step up.
Yeah.
Big step up, man.
Yeah. I don't
big step up.
Yeah. You see Callum Walsh fighting the winner of that fight?
Maybe by the end of the year.
Maybe.
When you try and prove yourself, though.
I know.
When you want the doubters to show up.
He don't believe in the top rank way. He's like, no,
I do think Callum is willing to fight guys.
So do I.
That's the main thing. And in Zuffa, the idea is I spoke to Dana at UFC 324, the Pimblett and Gaethje fight, which was incredible, by the way.
That was an amazing fight.
And I said, our fighters in Zuffa are almost matched too well because it's hard to get an, oh my God, did you see that knockout when the guys are matched so tough? You know what Dana told me? This is what happens if the best fights the best. The claim is not everybody, that all of these guys are the best fighters in their weight class. The point is that each opponent is willing to fight the best opponent you bring them.
There you go.
Where they are evenly matched. All right. Speaking of that, Julian Rodriguez was almost a 2-1 underdog against Cain Sandoval. And I want to talk about this fight for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
First of all, Smart Money bet it's open like 4-1. Smart Money bet it down to 2-1.
Yeah.
And this was a great fight. And I really love Sandoval's pressure style. Rodriguez fought a great fight. And I mentioned throughout the fight at a certain point, like, hey, Rodriguez has landed 30 of the best punches in this fight. Of the top 40 punches, he's landed all of them. At a certain point, okay, out of the best 60 punches in the fight, Sandoval came on late. Rodriguez has landed 50 of them. Sandoval's landed 10 of them. But we are so used to seeing the pressure fighter who comes in as the favorite, particularly if you believe he has a built-in fan base because in Sacramento they're excited maybe we can get boxing back. Also Mexican or Mexican-American pressure fighter. That is a bankable fighter if he can win. We're so used to seeing that guy get the benefit of the doubt, right? The guy who you think there could be money there. Get the benefit of the doubt. Especially if the boxer who's moving, even though Julian can really crack. But the boxer who's moving gives you the impression, I'm tired. Even as he's winning the round, but this guy is
the
kind
body mannerisms go to something.
This guy wasn't getting to me early. He's getting to me more now. That by the end of that fight, I thought, ooh, this is going to be like a drawish fight on the cards. Even though I felt Julian Rodriguez should be way up.
I thought he lost maybe 1 round.
Right, and so did our unofficial judge, Skipper Kalp, had it the same way. And that's why I want to bring this fight up for the card. Guys, the reffing was clean. There was no favoritism toward Callum Walsh when he got dropped by a kind of BS shot, but technically it was a knockdown. They called it a knockdown. There was no favoritism toward Sandoval because he was the pressure fighter. He lost almost every round on the judges' cards. It was clean. The fans know that they're getting an honest situation.
Finally, and that's everything.
Finally.
Small sample, but you're right, Max. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, that was
good action fight.
Can we talk about how good Rodriguez's jab was?
Sharp.
Can we talk about how hard his jab was, how intentful it was using his front foot? Can we talk about how good he was fighting off the ropes?
The body shots.
And with bad intentions
going up the middle and everything, JD.
That's an unusual style. It's a highly unusual style that the heavy-handed guy, because Julian Rodriguez is not the fastest guy in the world. He's okay, but he's not like, oh my God, blazing fast. He has heavy hands. That's his attribute. For that guy to be circling the perimeter of the ring behind a jab, outboxing you, and then when you come in, the pressure fighter lefts and rights to the body that were like, oh my God, that's an unusual style.
Did you think his mannerisms changed? Rodriguez's mannerisms changed because Sandoval was coming forward. At the later half, he did start becoming more of himself and imposing himself. But to me, Rodriguez didn't change.
Nope.
He was impressive.
It was impressive.
And
he was super impressive.
Super impressive.
Sandoval had more success late than he did early.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Rodriguez, to me, was more of the bad intentions, though. Like, even the jab, you felt it. Every punch he threw, you felt.
Front foot going through
And
your face.
he imposed his will.
Yes.
I don't care what y'all think. I'm going to win this fight.
Sandoval rugged to take those
You know
shots.
what I mean? And I'm going to show you, and he showed everybody.
Yeah,
And Sandoval didn't look bad. He just looked he looked like the pressure fighter that we're talking about. That who
fought Andy?
Yes, that fought Andy. Once you deal with that, it's pretty much over.
I would say two things on Sandoval really quick. First off, I was very impressed by his will. The pressure, his personality too in the fighter meetings. Max, seemed like a good kid and had a lot to say.
Yeah.
He didn't come into best shape, and as a pressure fighter, that's a concern.
He fought like he was in shape.
One thing.
However,
nonstop
I look
that
at
was cool.
how did you take the punishment? He took it A+.
Yes.
And were you still throwing punches at the end of the fight?
Yes.
He
And
was.
he
was, but there's a big but here, I think. I thought he was throwing mostly arm punches. I didn't see a lot of rotation on these shots. I didn't see him sitting down on his punches.
It's a good point.
And it's easier to do that if you're tired.
Yes.
I'll say this.
And let
too.
it hurt, though, dog.
That's one of my favorite kind of styles matchups. When the boxer puncher fights the pressure fighter, right? When the guy who's like, I want you to come to me so I can give you these hands, fights the guy who goes, I want you to stay there. Now, Julian didn't. He moved.
Yes.
But I want to come to you to give you these hands, right? What's the story of the fight, really? So if you ever saw James Tony Vasily Girov,
Yes.
Oh, one of my
Girov
favorites.
wanted you to stand there so he could beat you up to the body and wear you down, knock you out. Tony wanted to stay there so you could come to him so he could slip and counter, break you down. And halfway through the fight, to me, it wasn't clear. What's the story of this fight? And by the end, we saw the story was Tony was breaking him down.
Yes.
As opposed to Beterbiev and Vojnik, where Vojnik is an excellent boxer puncher. Beterbiev is the pressure fighter. And the story of the fight turned out to be Beterbiev, the pressure fighter, broke the boxer puncher down. This fight with Rodriguez and Sandoval was not clear to me early. Rodriguez doing amazing work, but what's the story going to be here? And the story was, yes, the pressure fighter kept coming, and he came on at the end, but the boxer puncher fought with such character and discipline that he won anyway.
Would you compare like a Mildred Taylor Chavez one to an analogy like that? A little bit like where's this fight going?
That a little bit, not exactly like Meldrick was also kind of a high volume, fast fighter more than a boxer puncher. But
I like that. Sometimes you could be watching fights and you're like, where is this going? And I
want to say something real quick. The first fight of the card, the very first fight of the card, was Troy the Bank Nash. Against Jacob the Raging Bull Ramos.
Yes.
Two deep amateur background guys, but Troy was a 20-1 favorite because he was considered the really hot prospect. And that was one of the best opening fights I've ever seen on any card.
Right off the rip, yes. And Nash is super talented.
Because Malik, usually, if the first fight is really good, it's a hot prospect in against the guy to showcase how great he is. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Or it's two evenly matched club fighters who just bang away because that's all they have is offense, right? But these two dudes, if you wouldn't have told me their names, you told me it's for a title, and it's a 10-round fight, the action was like that. The skill level, the adjustments, the chess match,
Ramos
plus the back and forth.
Positioning.
Ramos is really good. I want to see a 10-round rematch. Like, both those guys can fight. Coming up, we discussed the return of Israil Madrimov. This is Inside the Ring.
Live only on DAZN, January 31st, Lopez versus Stevenson, the Ring 6. Two champions from opposite sides of the Hudson Square Off at Madison Square Garden. Teofimo, the Brooklyn-born king of 140, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. Shakur, the pound-for-pound undefeated prince looking to become a 4-division world champion. The Ring and WBO Junior Welterweight Championship is on the line. Lopez versus Stevenson, the Ring 6, January 31st. Watch only on DAZN.
Madrimov.
All right, it's Madrimov.
Madrimov.
I said Madrimov. I was saying Madrimov, then I heard it pronounced another way. I figured I'm saying it wrong. Not only that, but I'm sure I have asked him, how do you pronounce your name? And he's told me. So, Israil Madrimov, I apologize for
We forgive you, Max. It's all good.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. I've only called one of his, welcome back to Inside the Ring. I'm Max, Malik, Cop, Shady, Israil. Let's say it together, guys. Madrimov made his return to the ring against Luis Salazar after an 11th-month layoff that included knee and shoulder surgeries and a bout with pneumonia. Madrimov didn't look like himself much of the fight, but left no doubt after the 10th round, after almost stopping Salazar. Cop, what do you think of Madrimov's performance coming off the layoff?
Yeah, look, Max, he certainly did not look like himself, as you said. Madrimov's one of the best 154-pounders in the world, no question. I think he's number 3 by the ring. He was winning the fight against Virgil Ortiz over the first half, fading in the second half, and don't forget, right, he was supposed to be fighting Boachuk, a couple months before that, and had to pull out with pneumonia. So he wasn't, had respiratory issues.
Dude, surgeries and pneumonia? A layoff?
But what I really liked, though, and this is a guy that really fights
Crawford,
based off,
people who fight Crawford are never the same.
Never the same.
That was such a brutal physical fight, right? Sarcasm anyway, obviously, for everyone watching.
When you say sarcasm, it ruins it. Just to let
you're right.
Just so comprehension.
When you say sarcasm, it ruins it.
Comprehension, Max, I'm trying to make sure there's miscomprehension.
Yes. No, it doesn't matter. The comprehension sometimes is so low, it does not matter if you say that. It won't matter.
But look, what I want to say is I just want to give Madrimov a lot of credit because we see fighters, like you said, Malik, earlier about Callum Walsh making a decision. He tried to stop him in the 10th. He almost had it. He was like, I need to make a statement here.
Right.
That's why I liked it, though, because, he's been injured, obviously, had surgery, and then pneumonia is nothing to mess around with. Once I had pneumonia.
Did you call it pneumonia? It's pneumonia.
I said pneumonia.
Okay, I'm just checking with
Come
you.
on, man. Listen, Madrimov, look. Playing with that, right? And then you have to, your energy's not the same.
Yeah.
I respect him because from round 1 all the way to the last round, he tried to knock him out. He tried to finish him. And you can tell he was rusty. I think this type of fight was good for him to get that rust off because if you watch him overall, he's always in really good shape and he can fight.
Yeah. Shady, let me ask you.
Hold on, before you ask him, the one guy who's actually a coach who knows exactly the answers to this test has not been heard from. Coach, what do you think about the layoff and the
How you feel about
what do you see? Me personally, I don't think Madrimov will ever be the same again. And I believe, Max, you and Mike are joking about the Terrence Crawford effect. And Mike is saying, it was so brutal. Yeah, he didn't really get beat up, but I think sometimes, mentally and spiritually, fighters get up so emotionally for a fight, and they give it their all. And if you ask anybody what's the best they've seen him, they would say Crawford.
True.
I personally don't think he'll be the same now, including the injuries and everything he's been through.
Go back to that. That's interesting to me because one would think
that
you fought an all-time great. His very next fight, he really put it on Canelo Alvarez. The previous fight, he beat Errol Spence so bad.
What you say, Max? He beat the legacy out of him.
He beat the legacy out of Errol Spence
every time.
There's some dude. He almost beat him out of the Hall of Fame.
Right.
It was. But
Max has a button in his head that when Crawford comes about, Spence gets the business.
Right.
But only because he gave it to. By the way, here's the other thing. Spence, I consider Spence a great fighter.
Spence a great fighter.
At his best, I would put him in the Hall of Fame.
I would.
I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
A beating like that, we haven't seen that since Floyd beat Corrales, something like that.
Right.
So I would think if I'm Madrimov, I'm like, hey, who's the funny-looking guy on the ring show? What's his name? Cop something or other? He thinks I could have won that fight, right? I'm thinking, I'm taking Hart from that. Why do you think that would ruin him? Why wouldn't it pump him up that he could give the best fight of Crawford's career to Crawford?
I don't know. I think Pernell Whitaker was one of the best defensive fighters of all time. If you fight him, you didn't really get hurt. You get plucked up a little bit. But I think afterwards, fighters are not the same after they get out the ring with him. I don't know what that is. I can't explain it, Max. One would think from the eye test, this guy got beat up, Spence in Crawford. You can see why something like that, he's never the same. But I also believe that it's something that's not physically visible that exists, that make fighters not the same when they're in the ring with real technicians. It does something to them.
Super interesting. You tell me if I'm saying this right or not, or you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Is it because if you really believe in your technique, you've been training since you're a kid, you have a big ego, you have a deep amateur background, you're undefeated as a pro, this is something, I think I told you guys this, a story actually Stephen A. once told me about Michael Jordan.
Learn some Stephen A.
This is like I would call this competition pornography almost, okay? Michael Jordan used to antagonize his opponents before they played. I won't tell you how he antagonized them, but he antagonized them. And when I heard this story, I said, yeah, of course, because he's trying to get under their skin to get a psychological advantage. Like Muhammad Ali would do this. Because if a guy fights mad, he's not as good.
Yes, right.
No, it's the opposite.
No, that's not why MJ did it. MJ did it because he wanted this dude as motivated as possible. So when MJ beat him, that dude knew my best wasn't good enough.
Wow.
His best is better than my best. That's next level comp. That's like the best thing you ever heard, right? You ever hear something better than that?
No.
So there may be that dynamic is at play in a fight against Crawford for Madrimov where you get something taken from you. When you know your best just isn't good enough.
And it could be an ego thing, it could be a pride thing, but it's something that definitely exists. I don't think you have to go through punishment to get discouraged in the craft that you're in. And a lot of these guys that fought Pernell, people wasn't afraid that they was going to get hurt when they fought Floyd. They was really afraid of
Floyd or Pernell?
I'm saying Floyd and Pernell.
Okay.
The humiliation is a thing,
Right.
and this is an ego pride-driven sport.
Super interesting.
Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's fair, right? That's the
you think,
mental
Mike?
aspect. The physical aspect, I wanted to ask you, Shady, because I know you've had knee injuries and shoulder injuries. How long does that take usually for you to feel like yourself, so to speak?
I mean, every injury is different, but I think it's a confidence thing, right? If I'm used to throwing a certain jab or throwing a certain hook, and now it's injured, and when I throw it, it's not the same. It's not as quick. There's more scar tissue. All these things matter. So now, damn, I got to adjust now. Now the way I fight, I got to adjust. That's why I love Floyd so much, because when he was knocking dudes out, and then his hands started getting messed up. Okay, now I got to adjust. Now more defense. Now less offense. So that's what makes guys special. But real quick, to piggyback on the Crawford thing, because we got to have a rule for this. They got to be the Crawford effect.
Yes.
And
He's never been the same since he made
right,
the
come on now, since you picked Canelo, it's different. But look, real quick, I'm being serious here. Not just boxing though, but it's all as an athlete. As an athlete, especially when you start so young, you're confident. I know I'm good. You can't beat me. I'm the best in this sport and that sport. And then you meet somebody that's better than you, and everything you do and you thought you was great at, they do everything for you not to do that.
Yes.
And now that's a mental thing. Like, damn, I can't beat this guy. You bring up Michael Jordan. I don't know if people know this, but Charles Barkley was a great player when he was playing. Now he looks way different now. So everybody know that. But when he said, I thought I was the best player ever. He said, I had to go home to tell my kids, yo, it's the dude over there from Chicago. I can't beat him.
Right.
And that's the thing Crawford does. Yeah,
And maybe it affected Madrimov
And it
like
affected
that.
you
It's a
mentally.
super interesting
You
theory in the
they
league.
could justify it if they go in there and get knocked out. Oh, he caught me with a shot. I'm still the man.
Right.
But you can't justify it when you gave it your all for 12 rounds.
Your
and
game
nothing in
plan,
your system.
everything.
Oh, it's a wrap.
In a wild co-main, guys, Khalil Coe got the majority nod over Jesse Hart.
Oh, my God.
This was
Very
after Coe
disappointing.
missed weight by 7 pounds. Guys,
Prime in Philly.
I really hate this.
Yes.
When the favored fighter essentially purchases a size advantage, they're usually the fighter making the bigger purse, so they know they can just pay their opponent some percentage of their purse.
Adrian
In
Broner,
this
right?
case, it was 20 or 30% to go through with the fight. If you miss weight by 7 pounds, that's a disgrace.
Yes.
It means you never intended to make weight in the first place.
The whole time in camp.
That means you get to be stronger all through your preparation for the fight. You don't have to starve yourself. And then you also get to be bigger on the night of the fight. It's the purchase of an advantage. Sports, especially
terrible.
boxing, that's not regulated the way and doesn't, until now has not had an NFL or NBA, requires an enormous amount of participation between all parties. This is the worst kind of unsportsmanlike stuff where you think you can just purchase a competitive advantage.
If only that happened recently. Maybe Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney.
Actually, you know where my mind goes is when Floyd fought Juan Manuel
Oh, yeah, that
Marquez.
one too.
It really bothered me because Marquez ain't beating Floyd to start with.
Small,
Like Floyd,
small
as
guy.
great as
Already.
Marquez
Yes.
was,
Yeah.
Floyd was even better.
Yes.
And then Floyd came into the fight enough overweight where it was like, come on, Floyd, you didn't really kill yourself to make. Part of the intrigue is, well, what if Floyd is drained
That was
by
a
trying to make a
144
weight?
catchweight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I forgot what the
I think
weight
it was
was,
144
but
by
it would
memory.
require Floyd coming down a little. So now you don't do that. And now I think he gave Marquez $500,000 or $600,000 to go through with the fight anyway.
It's just so
And it was a-
unprofessional.
But you got to be
unprofessional,
more than
so-
that, though,
and
right?
like
Because
insecure.
if I'm a guy that got the money, I'll just pay you off. I'm
Right.
like, hey, dude, keep it quiet. Fans are already here. What, you going to not fight me?
Right.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
You trained for the fight,
Yeah.
and now you're going to get an extra 20 or 30%?
Yeah, listen, I know Zuffa is up and popping.
Yeah.
Y'all got to figure that out, right? But let's go to the
I don't
fight.
think that'll be a problem. at
Good.
Zuffa.
Right, Turkey. Anyway, my man Jesse Hart. Yeah, that was crazy, though.
That was crazy.
That was a straight robbery. Ski
Absolutely.
man.
Oh, yeah, then it comes to the decision.
Yep.
Right.
Cole didn't even throw no punches.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Jesse
it.
put him in
Body
a
slam, though.
box.
He had a nice body
And
slam.
that was pretty good.
This is what
And this is a 35-year-old Jesse
36,
Hart.
he
when I
36.
mentioned Zuffa Boxing, that was Zuffa Boxing 1, ZB1, It was historic, just like UFC 1 was historic, right? And we'll see what it grows into. I think it's going to grow into a huge thing like the UFC. But the number one thing to me coming out of it, other than yes, it was evenly matched, we got some good fights, all that, was it was clean. There was no sense that one guy was favored over another and he was going to get special treatment. All the BS was gone. So you could trust that it was a fair and square athletic competition. That's not what that was.
Nope.
That was the purchase of an advantage by the richer, more favored fighter. And even then, he lost the fight and still got the gift.
That was not even just lost
That's
the fight.
why people
He didn't look good
at all. That's why people get
shocked by
turned
that.
off to boxing.
Yes.
That's what turns
That's
people
the
off
stuff,
to
man.
boxing. Get rid of it.
The worst part is when you hear the corner's like, hey, man, we need a knockout type of.
Yes.
So now when you hear that.
It was nothing still, though. Yes.
That was bad.
Shout out to Greg Hackett, Jesse Hart.
Oh, he did a great
He
job.
did an incredible job in the corner.
And how many
Great
times
job.
has Khalil missed weight now? It's happened several times. So he's getting multiple passes.
But the other times, was it about 7 pounds, Mike?
It was
the
still
7
missed weight.
pounds is
This is
crazy
worse.
work,
This
Shady.
is worse, yes.
And
that's awful.
by the way,
work.
I want to do something
that means
else.
you didn't care for fight week and training camp.
Yeah.
He already
7
knew.
pounds.
7
It-
pounds.
as a percentage of your body weight at that weight, it's
Unbelievable,
That's a
man.
disgrace. You ought to be
Unbelievable.
ashamed of yourself. Like, that's a disgrace.
And he can fight.
I want to say something else because Turkey is partners in Zuffa, right? We're on a show, Ring Magazine, Turkey Al Sheikh. Zuffa Boxing. I'm involved in both this and Zuffa Boxing. That's Dana and Turkey and Nick Khan, right? That is true. We did not lead. I'm not bad-mouthing another promotion because of the fact that it's not Zuffa. This is what happened. We led this show today with Muratalla and Andy Cruz. That wasn't Zuffa Boxing. That's a different promotion. What's that?
It was merit.
It was based on merit. That was a great fight. That was the best thing in boxing that happened over the weekend. We led with it. It's no problem. The decision was we didn't love the 118, 110 card, but I'm up here saying, well, this is how that could happen without being corruption.
I respect that, yeah.
The issue is that what we saw in the co-fight was, not C-O, K-O-E, is everything that's wrong with boxing that drives people away from the sport. And we have to clean that up. That's got to get cleaned up.
It left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Jesse Hart deserved the decision. Not even that, he deserved for his opponent to come in on a more competitive nature. Come in on the weight. You talk the talk, now let's walk the walk. Walk the walk is just not getting in the ring. Walk the walk is getting on the scale the right weight, the way you're a professional.
You know where that doesn't happen?
Professional way.
You know where that doesn't happen? In the UFC, right? Which is why when I went to UFC 234 right after, or 324, sorry, right after our Zuffa 1 boxing card, it was such an experience to have this little small venue in this little small room and imagine where it could wind up, but this is just the first step.
Yes.
And then the next night see where it winds up. When there isn't corruption with the decisions and the officials, when fighters are evenly matched, etc. When no one could get away with what Co got away with. They can't get away with it, but in boxing they can.
And when you say they get away with it, it's the promoters that are letting them get away with it. Let's be real.
Of course.
And that's the biggest thing for it. I think what Zuffa makes it different is because like a true fan that's watching boxing, I'm scared to bet now. Like, I knew for sure I won that Jesse Hart bet. I'm running around the house, doing dancing, and I'm like, he lost?
Real quick, guys, how did y'all think Jesse Hart looked? Because I thought he looked very good for the age that he is. Coming in, fighting against a young lion like that. He talked the talk, and he walked the walk. North Philly zone, Jesse Hart, 25th and Burks is where he's from, I believe.
And by the way, when you see a really bad decision, folks, when you see a really bad decision, this is how I've operated my whole life. I just count it as a win for that fighter. I know what I saw.
Yes.
I know what I saw. Oh, he lost. No, that loss wasn't real. I know what I saw.
But what about a future for his career, though?
Yeah, but
no. If
but
everyone adopts that.
Pernell Whitaker always used to say, whenever it is he got robbed, Ramirez, Chavez, he used to say, long as the people seen it, the people is my
people
judges.
know.
Yes.
People know. If someone said, oh, well, Whitaker has this many losses, he didn't lose to Ramirez. I watched that fight. That wasn't a loss.
That wasn't a loss.
All right. Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios had their first press conference. And Ryan let Barrios and Barrios' new trainer, the great Joe Goossen, who used to train Ryan, know what he thought of them. Check it out.
How could you? That's messed up.
What's messed up?
You know what I said. I mean, just can't believe you're doing this to me. That's insane. You hurt my heart.
Well, I'm still not doing it.
You broke my heart. It's over. It's over. We're done.
Again?
We're done. Yeah, I'm breaking up with you again.
I don't quit on my knee. You know, I always, go out there and...
He said the same thing, literally line for line.
Anyways.
He got it to work.
You're going to get it. Like, for the boxing fans are going to get a great fight. and this ain't a fight that you guys want to miss.
I'm ready to put a beating on somebody. I'm hungry, literally. I'm 154 right now. I'm ahead of schedule. Joe knows when I'm locked in, I'm locked in. So he knows that there's going to be a real fight. I just hope that you stop it, but I know Joe's not the type of guy to stop it. But, my prediction is going to be a lot of cuts in this fight. One thing I do want to mention, they got 3 guys that used to train me, not just Joe. This man called the Avengers. I call them the traitors. They got Wally, you got Justin Fortune, even though he was one time. We're not too, mad at him. But we do got some gifts for them. Predict the programming.
I hope.
There it is. The traitor, Joe Goossen. There you go. There you go for you. Wally somewhere. Justin, I don't even know where you're at.
Yes.
Ryan, you are so good at promoting
Yes,
the fight.
he is. Yes, you is, Ryan.
More importantly, though, guys, Ryan, when you're right, you're so good at fighting. Are you right for this fight? Right? Like, that's the whole thing. Is he right for this fight? Because when Ryan is ready, he is a lot.
He's a pleasure to watch when he's ready.
Yes.
On point.
And, like, however far he goes in his career, like, so you take a guy like Tommy Morrison, right?
Tommy Morrison, okay.
Tommy Morrison, when I think of great heavyweight left hooks,
You got to think of Tommy Morrison.
When I think of what, like, Ryan has the kind of qualities that 50 years from now, people will remember him for this quality or that quality. The question is, how will he apply those qualities in the ring? Will he give himself the best chance to win, or will he just stay a good promoter, big on social media, and not get ready? Ryan, listen, you used to sit where Malik is sitting right now. We love you on the show, and we want, I can speak for myself. I want him to have a great career, and I hope he's ready for this fight,
me
guys.
too.
I think he does. I think he's ready for this fight, man. When he was on the show, he was in good shape. I'm like, man, you're not even in training camp yet. So I think he comes in there. I think he shows that speed he has, that left hook that we all love. And he has something to prove. Like, when you lose to Rolly, right?
You hate Rolly.
Rolly's one of the worst I've ever seen.
Rolly got heavy hands, though. He got rocks in his hands.
He talks about rolling like he's some guy, bum off the street.
Better never run into Rolly.
Y'all laugh, but if we ever ask any road champions, they laugh at that. Everybody can't wait to fight Rolly. Oh, let me get him. Anyway.
Careful what you wish for.
When you lose to a guy like Rolly, that's embarrassing. So Ryan is looking forward to coming back, and this is who I'm
more embarrassing to lose to Rolly or to lose to Barrios?
Rolly.
You know shit.
Rolly. Yo,
What do you say?
Before you go work with Malik, what's the old dude?
Barrios is a world-class fighter, so is Rolly.
What's the old guy that was whooping on Rolly? And
Ishmael Barroso.
He was.
Meantime,
right.
one of the themes of the press conference was the traitor thing, right? Ryan is pretending, or maybe he really is mad, that Goossen, his former trainer, is now training the enemy.
Yeah,
is now training his opponent.
That's weak.
And you think so? Because time for a little story, then I want to pick your brain on this. Muhammad Ali, when he came back from exile, right? When the government wouldn't let him fight for 3.5 years, he beats a couple guys, Bonavina, Quarry, then he loses to Joe Frazier. After he lost to Joe Frazier, Frazier wouldn't give him a rematch for the title.
I know this dude.
So Ali fought Frazier at that point, his people were like, we're not going to fight any of the top contenders. His style, let's make some money now. Ali fought all of Frazier's contenders, okay? One of them was Jimmy Ellis, who came up with Ali in Louisville, right? And they were both trained by Angelo Dundee. Angelo Dundee, that's Ali's famously his trainer, right? Which corner do you think he was in for the Ali Ellis fight?
I know this one. But it's not fair.
It's Jimmy Ellis.
It's business, Shady.
Because he was also Jimmy Ellis's manager. He was in Jimmy Ellis's corner. And Muhammad Ali knew that there's Dundee trying to tell another guy all of Ali's weaknesses. Like that intimate relationship that he had with his trainer, he's selling him out to his fighter. Now, what happened after that fight?
Ali whooped him.
Ali beat Jimmy Ellis. And then he rehired Dundee as his trainer.
Yes.
But it's different though. First of all, they came in the same camp because they used to spar together all the time, right? Ellis, Jimmy.
I'm sure.
And it was Ali's trainer first, and then they took his license and he couldn't fight, and then he started working with Ellis.
Right.
So the difference was different. But it's different from the Ryan situation though.
Because?
It's bad blood. It's bad blood. Like, be respectful. Look, we had a relationship and it didn't work out. I went my way, you went. But why are you trying to, now you about to train a guy that I'm, come on.
But I want to definitely hear from you. But Mike, you're in the know in all this stuff. What do you think's going on?
Look, I think the reason there's bad blood and Ryan was joking and trolling a lot, but the reason bad blood is because when Ryan suffered the broken rib in sparring against the Mongolian fighter ahead of the Gervonta Davis fight, it got out to Gervonta Davis's team.
Come on now.
And Ryan kept alluding to a mole. And when I pulled Ryan aside once, I said, I think you're referring to Joe Goossen, aren't you? And he said, how did you know? And what I went to is...
Did he say off the record when he told you that? It sounds like...
Hell no. He told him.
Sounds that this may have been off the record.
He told him
God for a snitch. Yeah. Yes.
No, but I want to tell you what I said.
Ryan got a shirt for you. I want to hear what you said. Yes.
My theory was that Ryan was... I'm not saying that Joe did it, by the way. I'm referring to what Ryan's theory was. I thought that he would think it was Joe because Joe's brother-in-law and one of his best friends is Tom Brown, who's a great boxing mind and one of the top executives, as we all know, at PBC. So maybe it's possible that it came up in just the midst of a discussion. Oh, well, guess what happened today at the gym? Not saying it happened. I have no idea if it happens, but that's where I thought Ryan was going.
You're not saying Joe was snitching.
I'm not saying Joe was snitching.
If you're talking to your brother who just so happened on another team, everyday talk.
Maybe he came up. I don't know.
Let me tell you something, though. Joe Goossen is a professor at this. I spent 3 years of my life with him straight. The most beautiful scenario I've ever seen, one of them that I've seen in boxing, was Joe Goossen is training Casamayor for Diego Corrales. Yep. He beats Diego Corrales with Casamayor. Casamayor leave Joe. Diego Corrales come and train with Joe. Joe Goossen have Diego Corrales beat Casamayor.
Tells you a lot, right?
That says a lot.
Tells you a lot.
The man's system is untouched.
Yeah.
This is a business. I got Barrios, and I got Barrios even more that he got Joe Goossen in his corner.
Because of Goossen, right.
And for the comprehension experts out there, I just want to say, I'm not saying it happened. I was going where Ryan's head would go.
Yes, right. You would presume that Ryan would think, I know there's a snitch. I suspect it's this guy.
That's what I was saying.
And maybe that's part of the bad blood.
Yeah.
Coming up,
let's go, Ryan.
Coach Malik Scott takes you into the lab to discuss Teo and Shakur. This is Inside the Ring.
I'm betting on Ryan Garcia.
What's up, guys? Coach Malik Scott here. And guess what? As you all know, we have a real treat in boxing. The best fighting the best. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. And right now, I'm going to break down what Shakur does very well, but also what Teo needs to avoid, and why this has all the makings of being an all-time great fight. We're just going to start with the southpaw jab in the lab from my perspective in full detail. Shakur has one of the best jabs in the business, in my opinion, especially from a southpaw standpoint, because what he do as fighters has this rocky, back and forth place before they about to do offense. Shakur always catches it and hits you with the beautiful jab right there. He has a great measure of distance with it, and like I said, he has good timing with it because he catch when a guy wants to attack. You're rocking. You want to be front foot heavy, and the jab get there every time. He catches guys the minute that they want to attack from their front foot, and he stopped their momentum with that very quick, snappy jab from a southpaw standpoint. This is something that Teo have to avoid, that quick jab. And you can see here when Teo was going against Ortiz, he fighting the southpaw with your lead hand down. That's a tragedy. Why is it a tragedy? Because you're closer to their lead hand. And don't forget, guys, I just told you, Shakur has a very, very good jab. So that means Teo lead hand down, going into offense against Shakur, going with his lead hand down, he's open for the jab. And we all know that's one of Shakur's best shots. Ortiz does a beautiful job here. He give Teo some directional work going left to right. He's seen the lead hand down, and he came with the jab. This is something Teo can't do. I highly recommend that he approach Shakur going into offense with his lead hand up. Here against Taylor, his lead hand is down again against a southpaw. Why would you do that? Because you're closer to their lead hand. You're closer to their jab. And we all know Shakur has one of the best jabs from a southpaw standpoint. But what's real interesting about Shakur is people get caught up on his slick boxing, but he's a very, very good body puncher. A very good body puncher. He has stopped guys to the body. And here, you can see here, he ties you up. He occupies your guard, frees you up, so then he can go to the center core with the jab there. That's a very, very tough shot to take right there. Here again, he's going to freeze up. He's going to freeze up the high guard of the opposition. He just wants you to stay still up here so he can get to the core with his straight left hand. He has no mean of hurting you up there. He just want to occupy you up there so he can then get the straight left hand to the body. A serious body puncher is what he is. Here he is going to the body. Now watch this what he does here. He goes to the body here, but now once again he wants to freeze you up because then he wants to go back down there. So what does that mean? That don't mean he don't want to go to the body so much that he's going to put his chin in front of his knee. He's going to do it the right way. He's going to occupy you up so then he can go down. Here, Barboza was doing a good job at getting his jab. Even though he's orthodox, he did a good job at getting his jab to Teo core because Teo hands be all over the place in here. He missed Teo with some headshots, and what did he do? Teo can't move the body. So Barboza went down to the body. The same shot from a southpaw standpoint, as you can see, Shakur is very good at doing it. He can throw good jabs to the body, good straight left hands to the body, but he also can double that right hook around to the body. And this is something that Teo has to watch out for. Martin did a great job. He didn't throw one shot at Teo to the body. He doubled up the body attack. This is something also Shakur is very good at doing. Inside, in the clinch. You all know you hear the phrases all the time when I'm here doing the lab. No silent agreements here. Shakur is close, but the minute that he realized he got a free hand, he works it. And we all know Teo don't really like to get busy inside, and Shakur do. So these are just some of the things that Stevenson can do to be victorious against Lopez. Also, staying off the ropes. Shakur Stevenson is not in a safe place when he's on the rope, even though he has been successful. Why do I say he's not in a safe place when he's on the rope? Because against this type of competition, Teofimo is a little different, is a lot different in my opinion than most of the opposition that Shakur has been up against. So here, Shakur is up against the rope. Now, he's given the opposition an opportunity to look, to land shots like that, but then right there, he got caught going into a cross guard. But even here, top competition will swipe that guard. They will go through that guard with straight left hands or straight right hands. So right there, he's just not good. Here is where he good. Here is where he reminds me of Pernell Whitaker. In the corner, spin off the rope with a beautiful check hook and get back to the center to become the fighter that's doing the offense. Beautiful work here. This is my favorite sequence right here. I'm gonna tell you why. Here, Shakur, he's in Pernell Whitaker mode right here. Hit me if you can. But he's aware, good ring generalship. He aware that the ropes is right there. That's a danger zone. So he don't even get to the rope and worry about getting off it. He handles it accordingly right here at the base that he's in. He controls the guard. Beautiful work there, open palm. So as he's controlling the guard there, he used the momentum of that and got away from a beautiful left hook. And now his back is not even towards the rope. Beautiful work here. It's simple. It's simple, but it's so good. The opposition is coming to Shakur right here. He put his lead hand out. He don't go to the rope. He automatically cuts off and kind of make the C-shaped circle. He go halfway, and what he is doing right there, avoiding the ropes. He's not good on the ropes against Teofimo, and if Teofimo can make these adjustments to go against Shakur to rattle the system, then he could be successful. But if not, it's going to be a long night for him. And there you have it. Back to you, Max.
All right, nice work, Coach. This Saturday night in New York, it's Ring 6. And what a card this is. Stacked from top to bottom.
This is a crazy card.
But oh my God, especially the main event. Let's get into some best bets for this. Malik, your best bet for Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez on the whole card. What's the best bet?
It's on points. I got Shakur on points.
Yep, that's smart.
Yeah, I just can't. You wonder what would be a shocker? If Teo pulled it off and did something like stop Shakur.
But Teo won his two biggest fights on points. And by the way,
by nobody that's on Shakur level.
Lomachenko?
Don't start that. Start that. Two different body types. One to me is a better puncher. Shakur can punch way better to the body than Lomo can.
Loma has more power at his weight than Shakur has had so far.
That's for sure.
At his weight.
No, I agree with this. Shakur is longer than Loma and naturally bigger, but you can't say that Shakur's ahead of Loma. He has not proven that yet. Maybe he will be, but man, that's a lot. Very few fighters.
He's a great.
Yeah,
but who's your favorite fighter, though, Shady?
Bro,
and still, he's telling you.
And he also loves Teo. Shady's a big Teo fan.
That's why one thing about your boy, I keep it 1,000. I don't have no favorites. Shakur is my guy. He's my guy. He's my youngin. But I got to be honest, like this Teo fight is a hard fight. Every fight Shakur has, I guarantee Shakur.
But you're banking on it, like hoping Tio rise to the occasion against him.
But he always does.
Always does. And
It's a different type of animal,
I
man.
watched how them dudes back in the day. Nobody would whisper Lomachenko's name. Nobody would whisper it. They thought him and his dad was
Shady,
crazy.
what's your best bet?
I'm going Shakur on points. That's the safe one.
All right, listen, just to switch it up, I'm going to go Shakur on points. Who do you have, Kyle?
Because I have some balls, Max, I'm going to do a parlay here because I want to win the most amount of money and win this competition.
All right.
So Shakur on points also. My best friend Shakur. And I'm going to parlay that with Carlos Adames money line. He's like minus 450 against Ammo Williams. So we're going to get a nice minus 121 on the parlay. If you're watching at home, make some money, do the parlay.
See, because of Tio's feet, and I've said this before, Tio can be on the side of you while he's giving you angles he can match Shakur's speed. Speed, yes. Maybe not technique, but speed, yes. He has better power, and his feet are really good. So when he's on the side and creating angles, yes, I like Shakur on points. I would not be surprised if Teo won, and I would not be surprised if these two guys have a 3-fight series.
I agree with that. You said that. I agree with that, yes.
I think what's being underestimated here is Teofimo. Sorry to say, Shade, he's the more athletic guy here.
Yes,
that's
right.
He's the better athlete. He is the more athletic guy here against Shakur Stevenson.
Why is he saying that to you? Because on this show, we have broken down tape. By the way, on the show live, and I have heard Shady go about the black fighter. Use your athleticism.
Yo, listen.
That's right.
Every interview we do with a boxer, we're going to ask. I'm going to say, hey, who are the most athletic fighters?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, hey, out of all your top five of all time, who are they? They're going to have 3 black guys on there.
Well, and Pacquiao, right?
Pacquiao.
But that is Mike's point.
Correct.
He's bringing it up because you claim, and you may have evidence for this, that's not usually the case. He's saying it might be the case here.
If Tio win this fight, I won't be surprised, though.
He won't, though.
You're a Tio fan. I give you that.
He won't.
When back in it was Tank, it was Ryan, it was Devin Haney, and it was Tio. I said, out of all these dudes, I thought Tio was the most complete.
Right.
He can box, he can rumble if you want, I can move you.
And back then he was clipping.
And he's special.
And he ain't scared to fight everybody. By the way, even the in-between fights that Teo's had, you look at dudes that he's fought.
Serious fights.
If you took Josh Taylor and Lomachenko off his resume, he'd have as good a resume as the rest of these guys.
Come on now. So you keeping it real right now.
Teo's the real deal. Coming up,
the
man who got the Zuffa performance bonus of the night. Robert Meriwether III joins the show. This is Inside the Ring.
Just to impress.
Hey, Shady, you can get
The Ring Awards 2025.
One of the best years that we've ever had in boxing.
Live from New York City.
It's been remarkable. The fights, the breakthrough years.
The biggest stars.
Doesn't get much bigger than that, does it?
And the hottest prospects. A night celebrating the unforgettable moments that defined 2025.
The who's who of boxing is here tonight.
This is the most prestigious belt in boxing history.
The Ring Awards 2025. Live on DAZN.
I don't want no easy fights. I want hard fights.
We're gonna fight, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
I want to give the fans the best challenges. We'll see who's the better man that night. It's a dangerous fight for me.
Big guy and a hell of a fighter, man. I really like this kid.
It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
And I'm never afraid. I'm trying to tell you, I have a spirit of competition in me.
And he's gonna be looking to become one of the faces of boxing by beating me. With more focus, commitment, and dedication to my game, which is boxing.
I'm just being whatever I want to be.
He has a lot to prove, and we'll see what he could do.
That dude don't even scare me.
If he want it, let's get it. And whoop his ass.
Watch me fight live on DAZN.
Show me who you are.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. You watch Inside the Ring and you get introduced to some of the best young fighters in the world, and we are joined now by Robert Meriwether III. Robert, welcome to the show. Good to have you. How are you feeling?
Man, thank you for having me. You know, it's great. It's been a great experience, like, just to be around here. And even the Zuffa card, the first Zuffa card was a great experience. It was, history. So let's do it.
What makes you give? What I also felt that way. We were both a part of it. Me as a broadcaster, you as a fighter. But I also felt like
this is a part of history. This is the first step in something that's small now but will be big. And when I went to UFC the next night, did you go to the UFC fight today? No. I went to the UFC. It's packed. It's like, 15,000 plus people. And I was thinking, maybe that's where this is going, right? Did you get that sense?
I definitely felt that for sure. I mean, I told everybody that I know that Zuffa's going to be around for a long time. I can just feel the atmosphere. I can feel just the people just being around it is going to be definitely going to be around for a minute. So I just want to be the star of it.
So you got the performance bonus, right? So Robert fought on the card, the inaugural big Zuffa boxing card in Las Vegas on Friday. And he's now 10-0. He comprehensively beat an outgunned but very tough Cesar Correa. During the fight, maybe the second round, I turned to Andre on air and I say maybe they should. And before I could even say anything, Andre says throwing the towel. I'm like, yeah, because he looked outgunned. But the Zuffa matchmaking, boy, they put all of you guys in tough. Yeah. That guy fought with real character and actually tagged you as the fight went on and turned it into a better fight than it was in the first 2 rounds. What was that experience like being put in with a guy like that, first of all?
I mean, I think you said I was off for 314 days or something like that. Yeah. So it's been a minute. I had some problems off of boxing, but just it's a great comeback fight. Tough 5-0 opponent. Came off of 4 straight first round knockouts, so I know he was gonna come in game. And I was actually sick. I think Tuesday or something like that, Monday or Tuesday.
If you get me sick from that fight meeting, I swear to God.
Well, I'm good now. I mean, I thought
nothing gets Max more fired up than
when someone comes to work sick. I hate it so much. Hey, real quick. So you said in the fighter meeting, I'll let you guys jump in a second. You said in the fighter meeting you wanted that performance bonus, right?
Yeah.
First of all, you won it. How much was it? What are you going to do with it? All that.
It's about 50K.
Okay, nice.
That's nice. Let me tell you something. For a fighter who's starting out his career, doesn't have a gold medal, doesn't have a huge promotional push so far, 50 it's like, oh, that's different than what I thought I was going to get paid.
It's big time for me. So I'm going to be able to take care of my parents a little bit then just let it sit, let it. Next Zuffa card I get on, I get another one.
Put 10 in your pocket, put the 40 in the bank, but I mean, you had an impressive win, but what was an impressive outfit? Yes. The brother came in here, sure.
That's what I asked him what he did with his performance bonus.
It was an outfit. I want to ask you this, though, with the Zuffa boxing, right, being his first event, when you decided to join it, what was some of the benefits you thought to helping your career out? Like, let the people know, like, why you decided to be part of it and what's it going to do for you and your career.
I mean, it's paying well. That's number one thing I'm worried about. So it's paying well. And then on top of that, I know I'm going to be in the ring enough to be able to, stay active and become a better fighter and just hone in on my skills a little bit more, being active. I haven't been active enough recently. So just being able to get in the ring, be active, and then, just get paid. That's all I'm worried about. And then my legacy, I know I'm going to have a great legacy. So, ring belt, Zuffa belt, that's all I'm worried about.
So staying active, right? Sharpening your game up and also making money. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. I thought you did a real good job. I forgot what round it was. You hurt the guy with a 1-2-3 combination. He was hurt, but the first thing you did on attack was go to the body. I think that's like, I'm always talking about maturity around here when it comes to young fighters, and I thought that was very mature of you. And I'm happy that you was able to get the rounds in. Not just that, you was able to get the rounds in with a legit opponent, like not just somebody in there that, if he wasn't on your level, you had to show that he wasn't on your level. It wasn't given to you, and I think like that's very imperative in boxing nowadays. And I think that's what Zuffa, if you ask me, is going to be the biggest benefit for young fighters like you. Whether the fighters get it really or not, you fighting the competition that you're fighting and handle them accordingly. The way you handle that other guy, I think that's going to make your future even brighter.
Yes, I appreciate that. I mean, I know that Zuffa is going to be a tough route.
Yes.
So I mean, whatever I got to do to be able to showcase my talent, my skills. Whatever I got to do, I mean, I'm going to do it.
Who was your favorite fighter coming up? When I was watching you the other night, I was thinking about that. Like, who did you watch? I see a couple I see a couple, Mike Cobbins, your favorite fighter, Zab, Judas, certain things in there. I see some Floyd in there. I see some Ray Leonard with your directional work. Who was your favorite fighter like coming up? Who do you film study the most?
That's my two right there. Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd. But number one, Ali. You know, so
for sure.
I'm from Louisville, so I got to put the city on. So Louisville, Kentucky. You know, so you got Ali, Ray Leonard, Floyd, and then a little bit of Roy.
Okay.
I love Roy Jones.
I love that lineup. He got
that's four right there.
That's a lineup, all brothers too.
That's a lineup of different kind of guys. There's a certain level that's that's the uppermost echelon. Whoever
the
lived.
upper room, as they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, you're a fighter with a lot of confidence, right, Robert? And we were joking about it last week when I was at the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight, and you said to me, I think you stopped me, right? And you said, "You're going to see me. You're going to see a lot of me."
Yeah, that's right. Sure. I definitely had to do that. I know my skills, and I know my I can showcase my skills. So all I had to do was be able to show you. And here we are.
And I think that's what makes Zuffa great, though, right? You're talking about, you have almost a year layoff. You're trying to find your fights. Now you have a machine behind you. It's going to push you, market you, and you're a guy that could be a star. We're not just saying that because you're here. You're here for a reason, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, that's all I ask for is a backing. I never had that. So being able to have a really good backing behind me, I just feel like sky's the limit.
How did it come about? How did you wind up signing with Zuffa? Can you tell us that story?
Just being around guys like Ish and Ryan Scholar. Those are my two guys. And then I got my dad. He's my manager. And Coach Flick and Coach Bullet. Those are my guys. That's my team.
People around you.
Yeah, got a great team around me, and they're able to have a path for me. So let's do it.
By the way, I know it sounds like we're doing a giant Zuffa commercial, right? But it is like. by the way, it's what I'm involved with right now. Yeah. This is what the card Robert just fought on. He had a very good win. He's an up-and-coming prospect. So it's certainly on my mind a lot because it's just what I'm experiencing. I posted on Twitter about your quote, how you experience your experience at Zuffa, and how you talked about the facilities you have access to, the nutrition. And what struck me is you said, I feel like a real professional athlete, in the NFL or the NBA.
We got that, yeah.
What is that? Can you talk to us about that? What's the difference between that and what you experienced so far?
Just being able to get the amenities, being really nutrition. I have a nutritionist now. I never had one. And then
sports medicine. I'm sure
sports medicine. A lot of recovery. So after training, I'm getting a good recovery. Being able to get my shoulders fixed, my hands fixed.
And immediately.
Just immediately. As soon
treated
as
like a real pro athlete, in a league.
Absolutely.
Why did you go to, you talked about you grew up in Louisville.
Yeah.
And you graduated, people know this story, he graduated high school early, right? So you could pursue your career and moved to Vegas?
Oh, well, I was born in Louisville, but I was raised in Las Vegas. I've been around the boxing scene in Vegas for a minute. I started boxing in Phoenix, Arizona, actually. That was my first gym Fuentes boxing. So
you're using the Louisville thing a little bit.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But my
Robert, you're using it a little bit, misleading a little bit.
Yeah, my entire
family. You're a Vegas guy. You're a Vegas. How old were you when you moved to Vegas?
I was a baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert, can I ask you?
It's like when I tell people I was born in the Bronx. I didn't grow up there. I was born there. Come on. Yeah.
How many times you think you want to fight this year? This came to 2026, right? You talk about being active.
Yeah. At least about 4 times. At least.
Oh, I like that. Oh, so you gonna make a lot of money? Okay, yeah, you gonna make a lot of money.
He said at least. That means he's willing to take on more.
Did you think you were going to stop him? I think I saw you knock out the mouthpiece at least twice.
Yeah. Yes. That 6th round, I tried my.
How do you stop it? Like if you could fight that fight again, how do you get the stoppage win? It looked like you should have gotten him out of there.
I feel like I should have turned it up a little bit more, but at the end of the day, he was game. I mean, I was hitting him with a lot of shots, and he was still sitting there. So
and not just to the head, he was going to the body.
Yeah.
It was good work. Real good work.
He was. They put him in.
And you would rather that, wouldn't you? You would rather this role.
I mean, I definitely would rather a tougher role than anything. That's.
Can you, real quick before you leave, can you take it to the mindset for the viewers out there? I'm hitting this guy with all these shots and he's just not going down. What are you thinking? Because I think I'm whooping him, boom, boom, and he still is coming. What are you thinking in your mind? Let the people see it and hear this.
By round 3, I was like, okay, he's tougher than I expected. I ain't gonna lie, round round 1 and round 2, I was like, okay, I can get him out of there. And I was looking across the ring during during rest, and I was like, okay, he's gonna go. And then round 3 pops up, and he's still there, and I'm like, okay.
Still got the
The reason those kind of experiences are important at this point in his fighter's career, why you have to put him in with guys with character, even early in their careers, is if you went to UFC the following night, Paddy Pimblett lost to Justin Gaethje, right?
Yep.
But in the second round, just like in the second round of your fight with your opponent, it looked like Pimblett was gone. There's no way you survive that.
Yes.
But not only do you survive it, you're going to encounter fighters as your career progresses who are going to survive it and give you everything you want after.
Yes.
And how you respond to that will determine if you can become a great champion. And these kind of experiences, that's how you start to get your feet wet in those kind of fights. That's why it's important to fight real competition.
You're doing good, brother.
Robert, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Excellent performance on Friday night. We look forward to seeing
And he
you
got
again.
the bonus,
real
Shady.
soon.
He got the bonus.
Maybe you get one of these.
Hey, listen.
You get one of these, Shady?
I don't know whose number you got to get the mic because he need to get some outfits like you. Right? All right, so hook him up.
It's my mom. I got you.
There we go. Oh, perfect.
Mama, we need you, Mama. Coming up, our informant, Mike Coppinger, went undercover to interview Xander Zayas. This is Inside of the Ring.
Where's some stitching shirts at?
On the zone, the fights never stop. 2026 kicks off with a stacked schedule to start the year.
It has never been bigger for any fighter in the history of this country. Let's get ready to rumble!
Every week, it's on. So take your seat and join us ringside. The undisputed global home of boxing. Watch only on the zone.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. I'm Mike Coppinger, and I am now joined by junior middleweight title holder and budding star, Xander Zayas. Xander, thank you so much for being here with me. Good to see you. I think I've known you now since you're, 17 or so? Look at that. You got a beard now.
Mike, how are you, brother?
I wish I was in Miami, Xander. People laugh at me in LA, but it's still a little cold here. I know in Miami it's like, 70s, 80s?
Well, right now I'm in Puerto Rico, and right now it's here in Puerto Rico it's around 80
nice.
something. It's beautiful out there.
That's nice. I'm jealous. And I'm also jealous that, I'm not going to be able to be there on Saturday, of course. We have another fight in New York, but you're in a pretty big fight of your own, and you're going to meet Abbas Barao in what amounts to a homecoming title unification in San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's really a special opportunity for someone who's really waving the flag right now for Puerto Rican boxing. And at 23 years old, no less. Xander, how special is it to bring such a fight to your hometown fans?
And it means the world to me. Obviously, it's something that I've been wanting to do for the longest now. And now coming back to the island as a champion, unifying, having the opportunity to be the youngest unified champion in the world right now, it means everything to me. And obviously doing it in front of my people means it's even bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you're going to have a big support there. I heard the tickets are moving really well, so no surprise there with your personality, your fighting style. But I want to talk about Barao for a second. I was watching last night Barao's big upset win over Yoenis Tellez. Very impressive stuff. And, he did it on the road, basically. And you're familiar with him, right? You sparred, I think, 70-plus rounds when you were getting ready for Sponer.
Yes.
And you know how tough that guy is. Nonstop pressure, the jab. He's very sturdy. How did those sparring sessions go?
They were really, really good sparring sessions. Obviously, when we bring guys into camp, we try to bring guys that are going to push me and that we think are very similar to the opponents that we're facing on that time. And when we brought him for a couple camps, not just that one. For Spomer, he only sparred me once or twice, and then something happened to him and he couldn't come anymore. But before then, we sparred a lot for other fights. And again, I feel like it was great rounds. What can I tell you? I mean, I don't want to expose too much of it. I feel like we both have an idea of how it went down, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, of course, sparring is sparring. This is a real fight for all the marbles. 2 junior middleweight titles on the line. How do you deal with that tough physical style, though? Because I know that could be mentally and physically exhausting.
Man, when you grow and you adapt to things and you start seeing different things and you get different type of fighters in the ring with you, there's no such thing as pressure. There's no such thing as being uncomfortable. You manage, you learn how to walk, you learn how to take your time off, you learn everything about it inside that ring, and when it comes to fight night, it's easy. You know how to make it happen. So him being a pressure fighter, I feel like that's the only opportunity he has. I have everything else in my favor. I know how to box, I know how to pressure, I know how to throw in combinations, angles. So come fight night, I'm ready to show everything that I can do inside that ring.
Yeah, and that's fair, Xander. You certainly can do a lot more things in there than he can. We know he's only going to fight one way. You're a multifaceted guy, and I'm assuming you're a lot more confident now that you're a champion. You won the title over the summer, and you're growing all the time, so it's great to see. But Barao, he just won a title fight when he was counted out, so you know he's going to be confident too, and he thinks that he could spring the upset.
No, for sure.
How important, though, do you think it is to discourage him early in the fight and to show him that he cannot win this fight?
Man, it's very important. It's very important to show him who's the boss from round one. I feel like that's always been the goal with me and all my opponents. Just show him who's the boss. Show him that he doesn't have a chance. He doesn't have an opportunity from the get-go. And that's what I'm planning on doing. Again, he's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. But I just feel like I'm better than him. And come Saturday night, I will show it one more time.
Yeah, and again, you're going to do it in Puerto Rico. And you've said coming back to fight in your home country on the island is one of the most important things that you've done. Does that add any extra pressure to deliver a great performance, or does it just make you that much more motivated?
Mike, I feel like a lot of people ask about pressure and when you're ready. Again, I've been doing this in the professional level and the bright lights since I'm 17 years old. I've been on the spot since I'm 17 years old, on ESPN, on live television, big crowds, small crowds. I've been able to do it. I've been able to handle it. Now it's just another night, another venue. I got to go out there and do what I do best, perform like I've been performing for 22 fights, and become unified world champion. There's nothing different. There's nothing out of the ordinary. I know what to expect come Saturday night. I know everybody's going to show up. Everybody's going to show out, and I'm going to put on a show like I always do.
Yeah, and Alexander, I have no doubt you're going to be ready. I know you keep your head down and you're not someone that gets distracted by outside noise. But I know you're trying to reach much greater heights than just being a unified champion, right? And we've seen the kind of legends that have come out of Puerto Rico. Felix Trinidad, Miguel Cotto, they've showed support for you recently. What does it mean to have those legends in your corner, and have they offered any advice ahead of this big homecoming?
Man, just having people like that in my corner, like Miguel Cotto, Tito Trinidad, Ivan Calderon, even Amanda Serrano, all these big legends that came out of my island and that put a name in the boxing sport. It's excellent. It's amazing to me. It's just a dream come true. I just gotta, like you said, keep my head down, keep working. They always, every time they see me, they tell me the same thing: stay focused, stay the course. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to do too little. Just do enough. Do what you have to do, and keep being yourself. So I have great people around me, and obviously having them around me and supporting me means the world to me.
See, when you say those names, it sounds so much prettier than when I do, Xander. I have to work on my Spanish, I think. But look, if you're successful on Saturday, you're going to join fellow Puerto Ricans Oscar Collazo and Amanda Serrano as current unified champions. How important is it for you
Santiago, René Santiago is also he just became unified champion too. So I think we will be the only country. I think we will be the only country with all unified champions. All four of us will be unified champions after Saturday night. And it's amazing. It's beautiful to come from such a small island, but with such big magic, and just keep bringing glory to Puerto Rico and our people is what we want, and it's something very important to me, and I will continue to do that.
Yeah, and Collazo just recently crashed the Ring's pound for pound list, so props to him. I'm sure you're happy to see it. Who do you think you're going to need to face in the future at 154 pounds to join him? Obviously, lots of big names in your division.
Yes. Man, to be honest, Mike, right now there's no more, or there's no other names right now in my head. rather than Abbas Barao. That's the name that I gotta face next. That's the only person that I'm worried about. And again, yes, congratulations to Oscar Collazo on entering the pound for pound list. But when I get there, I will get there in my terms, and then and when it's necessary. Right now, I'm focused on Abbas Barao, and then after that, we can have a conversation about who I want next.
All right, so it sounds like I didn't butcher his last name too badly. I feel better now, Xander. Thank you. But you've said that winning a title is not even halfway to where you want to be, just the first phase of your journey.
Sure.
What are your ultimate ambitions in boxing?
Man, multiple divisions, multiple unifications, undisputed. Just run through every division that I touch. I feel like that's always been the goal. Being able to run through everybody that I face, and I train and I dedicate myself to this. So when it's time to show up and it's time to show out, I'm always ready. There's no questions to be asked.
Yeah, and one big name in your division, figuratively and literally, is Sebastian Fundora. He's 6'5.5", and I know that you accepted a fight with him last year. He's the one that moved on, so you're really willing to fight anybody. Do you think he ducked you, or what went on there?
No, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what went out there. He wanted to fight, then he didn't want to fight, then he sent a rehydration clause. So I feel like it was a lot of excuses for a guy that, again, is 6'5", is the biggest guy in the division. But again, none of that matter now. None of that came into reality. Maybe in the future we could get something going. But Abbas Barao is the main focus, the main objective right now. And Saturday night, I will be the only champion at 154 with 2 belts.
Wait a second. I need to hear more about this, Xander. You're saying that Fundora, who's 6'5.5", he wanted a rehydration clause against you? Can you explain this?
Yes, he did. That's all that was said. He was like, we'll accept the fight, but he'll have to do a rehydration clause. And we're like, we're not doing that. It doesn't make sense. We're not fighting for the IBF, or we're not fighting in London or something. Like, we're fighting for the WBO. And at that time, WBO, WBC, but there's no need for a rehydration clause.
Okay, well, that's crazy, and certainly no need. We just saw Terrence Crawford go up 2 weight classes to beat Canelo with no clause. So, but look, yeah. I know you win a title.
Exactly.
Look, you said you're right. You win a title on Saturday. You're going to be the only guy with 2 titles at 154. That's going to give you a lot of leverage, I'm sure. And speaking of another guy that you were in talks with last year, was you and Virgil Ortiz. You guys were, Xander, you're usually a pretty mild-mannered guy, but Virgil seems to get under your skin a little bit, and you guys were going back and forth. He was trying to say you haven't fought anybody.
I feel like I get under his skin a lot, to be honest, because I just keep it simple. It was simple things, like I said the facts. The first time they offered the fight, I accepted right away. Then they moved on with Madrimov. All I said was I accepted the fight right away. There's no thinking about it. Then the second time, he said, oh, we sent you an offer. And I just posted that it wasn't an offer. I mean, a real offer is a date, location, and a purse. You didn't have any of that in that offer that they sent. So, to be honest, then he went on and typing paragraphs after paragraph, like, relax, man. Like, I'm just posting the facts. Just don't lie.
Hey, I love you fighting with these guys. I just hope we're going to see all these fights in the ring, whether it's you and Virgil, you and Boots, you and Fundora. How confident are you that we're going to see all these fights at some point?
I feel like I'm very confident on the fan seeing all these fights. To be honest, it's always the same component to every big fight that has Virgil Ortiz's name on it. He always wants it till he gets to the talks, and he gets to the talks, and it never happens. So at the end of the day, with all these other guys, I feel like we can make something happen. Boots Ennis, I feel like he will be available. A lot of these guys will be available and ready to go. But again, it's a matter of having the right conversation.
So let me ask you then, Xander. After yourself, of course, who do you think is the best fighter at your weight class?
After myself, the best fighter at my weight class right now. Man, I have to put. I think I'm gonna go with Boots Ennis, and not just because he moved up, but also he's athletic. He was a champion at 47. He has the pedigree, and he's a very good fighter.
No question. I would say the same thing about Boots. But speaking of you recently signed a marketing deal with Bad Bunny's marketing agency, Rima Sport. I know that's big for you. They're getting you sponsorships, working in conjunction with your manager, Peter Kahn, who of course I know well. And, there was even video of him celebrating your world title win at one of his concerts. How big has Bad Bunny been for your career so far?
Man, signing that deal with Rima Sports and Bad Bunny agency, it means a lot. Obviously, we are known in the boxing world, and we have evolved in the boxing world pretty well. But obviously, it's all about making it outside the boxing world too, being recognized outside the boxing world. And that's where Rima Sports comes in. Being able to give me that exposure outside of the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, you're an easy guy to market, right? You have a big personality. You have the look. Yeah, I've seen your hair. Your hair has basically gone from, you had the colorful braids, and now you have like the long hair. The hair is looking good on you. So, but look,
Yes,
finally.
sir, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. But look, it's been a long time, right, since we had an actual legitimate star from Puerto Rico, since Cotto retired, 2015, 2016. And I know you're on your way there, but you can't skip any steps. The first big step, right, is the next one this Saturday against Bas Barao. What kind of statement are you looking to make to show the boxing world on Saturday?
Man, I'm looking to show that I am who I say I am. That I'm the best 154 pounder in the world. And Saturday night, I will show that.
My boy! Listen, I watched this young man grow up from a kid to a superstar, and now he's a champion. Congratulations. I just want to know one thing. Two things. Why in the hell I ain't get my tickets? Because we know you're going to beat a Bass ass for sure. And number two, is Bad Bunny going to be in attendance?
Well, I don't know. To the second question, I don't know if he's going to be in attendance. I know, obviously, he has his world tour going on. I don't know if he's going to be in attendance. And the second one, well, you hit me up. You tell me if you want to fly out.
That's my boy. You making me cry, dog. You a grown man and
My
you a
God,
champ.
I appreciate
Tell
you,
your
brother.
pops and coach I said what's up. You know I box, dog. I told you I box.
I got you.
Yeah, Xander, what do you think? Can Shady actually box?
Come on now.
You can be honest.
Nah, Shady got hands. Shady got hands, and he has some boxing knowledge for sure.
All right, well, look, when I see you next time and Shady's not with us, you can give me the real answer. Well, thank you so much, Xander. I can't wait for the fight on Saturday. And good luck. I'm going to have to sneak to watch the fight on my phone at the fight in New York, but we'll be back. Good luck with everything.
Bring it home, Trent. Bring it home, baby.
Thank you, guys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you again to Xander Zayas for the time ahead of his fight on Saturday, and we'll be back right here with more Inside the Ring.
The Locker Room, the new home of DAZN's boxing content. All your big hitters, all in one place.
Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Welcome on board the rivalry line.
I've never put attention on becoming a star. This just kind of happened.
More exclusive content than ever before.
Welcome to Inside the Ring, boxing's official show of record.
Where boxing lives, breathes, and never stops.
Well, the franchise is considered super.
Exactly.
Weekly content from all your favorite creators, promoters, and influencers. The Locker Room, only on DAZN, the global home of boxing.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. Max, Malik, Cop, Shady. We now bring in a fighter who just went from undefeated British junior welterweight prospect to undefeated world-class junior welterweight. And Dalton, when I say contender, I mean Ring Magazine contender, meaning there are lots of different belt sanctioning bodies, but there is a champ. It is great to have you on the show. That was a hell of a performance. Why did you come across the pond?
First of all, what's happening, boys?
What's up, Trent?
Dalton.
Do you know, coming over to the pond, it was my opportunity. Do you know, that was my world title shot, and Like I said, I'd have gone anywhere. Originally, it was meant to be Puerto Rico, so in a way, New York was a bit of a bonus.
You not only, because you're a hot prospect in Britain, and you could stay right where you are and make money and be like, but a guy who does what you did is a guy who's like, no, you don't have to protect me. I believe I'm the best in the world. I want to go and prove it. And then the way you proved it, Matias was seen by many as the boogeyman at 140. It's not just that you fought him, you went toe-to-toe.
Yes, he
Why
did.
that style fight against that guy?
I mean, I probably wanted to leave a fight, people will remember for years. But, I mean, if you could write it down, a way to go and win a world title in New York and the type of fight it was, it was action-packed. So, I'm happy with the performance.
Dalton, congratulations. That was a great victory. And the way you stopped him, just really impressive. The volume you threw with to keep him off of you. At what point in the fight did you know that you had a chance to stop him, that you knew your punches were getting through?
We expected to be in a tough fight. We was covered from all angles, but I think after the first round, I boxed his head off a little bit, and I remember catching him with a short uppercut inside, and the reaction I got from him, I knew I could hurt him from the first round. So I knew if I stuck with him, I believe in my power anyway. It's something I don't really get the credit for, but I know if I hit anybody clean on the chin, I can hurt them.
I thought you were rocking him pretty good right from
Yes,
the
he
opening
was.
round. You were the one landing the really clean, hard shots. I think from round one.
And combinations too.
Yeah.
Dog, you're originally from Sheffield, England, and I believe that's where Prince Nassim is actually from as well. Like, being so the fact you had a decorated amateur career, and basically coming up, is Prince Nassim like somebody that you used to not look up to, but somebody you was like aware of and would try to pattern some of your game after him? Was he inspirational to you coming up out of Sheffield?
Of course, and I was actually on the phone to him today. He actually rung me to congratulate me and stuff. So, that was a big thing for a kid coming from Sheffield. But to answer your question, Naz is one of the big icons in boxing. He was a star, and to come from Sheffield, small place in England, it's unheard of. So Nazim, paved the way a little bit and, inspired us fighters.
Man, was he a star,
Yes,
too.
he was
That
a star. He and every brother in the hood loving him.
That was a star.
Dalton, great win. I got to be honest, man. You were the star, but your dad, he really won it for me, man. After the fight, his press conference. But I want to ask you, because he seemed so confident, did you know this fight would go like that?
We knew we'd probably get into some tough parts of the fight. You see the way Matias fights, and to be honest, I knew what I was capable of. In a way, it was for me to answer the questions of the boxing world. I've come through the domestic scene, got onto fringe world level. So in a way, I was unproven to the boxing world. So I was excited to get in there and show people that I am world class, and I am here to beat Israil. I'm not here just to make up the numbers.
So there are belts, and that's a good thing to win a belt. Like they don't give them away. But then there's the Ring Magazine Championship, meaning you are the man. You either unified or beaten the top guys, or beat them. You're the man who beat the man. And you strike me as the type that would be important to, because otherwise, why do you, as I said, come across the pond to fight the boogeyman, right? The winner of Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson is the Ring Magazine champion at 140 pounds. You are the number one contender according to Ring Magazine. Richardson Hitchens is the number 2 contender. Now, follow me here, Dalton. If Shakur beats Teo but then vacates and goes back down to lightweight, and he said that's what he would do if he wins, the junior welterweight Ring Magazine championship would be vacant. That vacancy could be filled by number 1, Dalton Smith, fighting number 2, Richardson Hitchens. Any interest?
Of course, there's interest there. I'm here to be a part of the biggest fights, and the biggest fights are usually against the biggest names, and that's the Americans. So, like I said, I'm in a great position now, and hopefully I'll be over for the Teo Shakur fight on Saturday, depending on the weather. But of course, it's a great fight up against Hitchens. He's got one of the belts. He's a great champion. So, I'd be interested in one of those.
Yeah, and Dalton, I'm wondering, you were taking us through basically your steps in boxing, right? Where you went from fringe, prospect to fringe world level to now you're the top guy at a 140 below Teofimo Lopez. That was your 19th pro fight. Do you think boxers, by and large, are being babied that, you could have done this in your 16th fight or your 15th fight?
I'd probably say in my own head, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm ready for a world title shot, but there's a development process for a reason. I feel like my career was stepped up in the right steps, but I do think some fighters fight at a lower level for too long, and then when they become eligible to step up, they're not ready because they've stayed at that level for so long. So, I think it's about stepping up the levels at the right time, and when you're ready, you've got to bite the bullet and see if you're good enough.
Yeah, Dalton, I have since we're bouncing theories off you now, let me bounce this off. I really think sometimes when a prospect notices that the people around them are too careful with them, they can internalize that. Like, why are these dudes protecting me? What did it mean for you that the people around you were like, nah, we're going to go fight Matias? What does that do for you as a fighter?
Because I knew once I got myself into a position where I was mandatory for the WBC, well at it at the time, so obviously I'd have had the winner, so you've got to be prepared to fight whoever's the best, whoever's the champion, I was there for a reason, and you've got to go out there and prove to the world that you're world class, whoever the guy is, whoever's in the opposite corner.
Dalton, sometimes in boxing, it's this thing that happens with fighters when they're fighting punchers or when they're fighting guys that have like a real violent history, like your last opponent. When I seen you fight Zepeda, it seemed like you was disengaging a lot more. And then to me, and I'm sure even all the fans, we're looking at Zepeda like Zepeda is good, but he's not a threatening puncher like Matias. Am I right?
Matias.
There you go, Max. Like Matias is. So what was, just kind of go back to piggyback off of what Matt just said. You and your team not only said we're going to fight him, but we're going to fight a very dangerous puncher, one of the most violent in the division. And not only are we going to fight him, we're going to back him up. We're going to hold our ground. Where did that come about? Is that something you was doing with your sparring guys in camp? And who plan was that?
Yeah, so he's obviously my father and my dad's my coach, as I think a lot of you know now. But he's believed there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
These styles make fights, and you've got to find the weaknesses and the strengths in the fighter. For what looks obvious from the outside, once you're in there in the ring and you can feel different things, it's you've got to be willing to adapt. And the plan was to probably box Israil a little bit more, but once I got inside with him, I knew I could match him, and I knew my engine would be there till the 12, so I was confident in that.
And your technique was better, and as I said, you were landing the better shots the whole fight. Really, I thought there are other named fighters in and around 140 pounds, Dalton, including obviously Teo and Shakur and Richardson Hitchens. I mentioned. By the way Muratalla just looked at 135, right? Yeah. Like that's the weight class right below. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia at 147. Those are all the names I just mentioned. How do you fit in? Like, who would be your dream fight right now?
Dream fight is obviously my aim is to sell out my local football ground, Hillsborough Stadium. So if we could get whoever the biggest name is to put on the biggest event, that's what I'd be part of. But as of right now, you've got to be looking at Richardson, Hitchens, and the winner of Shakur and Teo.
Yeah, Dalton Smith. Like, the way you talk, that's what every boxing fan wants to hear.
Yes.
Dalton Smith, ready for the best. Thank you for. By the way, congratulations on that
big win.
That was a tremendous fight. And just even a big gutsy fight to take in the first place, let alone fight it the way you did.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, Dalton. We're going to enjoy watching your career.
My pleasure.
See you, champ.
Got some new fans over in America, brother.
That's right.
Coming up.
Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
The knockout news. By the way, you have no problem with his name, Dalton Smith, right? Dalton Smith, easy.
Wait, hold up. Now, he messes as many names as I do.
That's true.
This is
we butcher
Inside the
everybody's
Ring.
name on this show.
I know, I got a lot of nerve.
I don't want no easy fights. I want hard fights.
We're gonna fight, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
I want to give the fans the best challenges. We'll see who's the better man that night. It's a dangerous fight for me.
Big guy and a hell of a fighter, man. I really like this kid. Dominance.
It's going to be a hell of a fight.
And I'm never afraid. I'm trying to tell you, I have a spirit of competition in me.
And he's going to be looking to become one of the faces of boxing by beating me. With more focus, commitment, and dedication to my game, which is boxing.
I'm just being whatever I want to be.
He has a lot to prove, and we'll see what he could do.
That dude don't even scare me.
If he want it, let's get it. And whoop his ass.
Watch me fight live on the zone.
Show me who you are.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. I'm Max. That's Malik. That's Cop. And that is Shady. Let's get into the knockout news. Speaking of knockouts, guys, apropos, Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora, appears to be happening after Chisora posted a video of himself signing a contract and FaceTiming Deontay Wilder. What do we think?
Let's fucking go!
Son.
Let's go. Let's chill.
I hope you're ready.
Oh, man. If I ain't ready, then I'm going to get ready.
I hope you are ready.
It's going to be crazy. They buzzing, too. They buzzing.
Yeah, so smoke time. We smoke time. Get ready, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Hey, I'm just let you know. I love you, bro, but this is going to be the last phone call that we next time I see you, we'll be in the press conference, and then after that, we'll be in the ring, baby. We got to cut off.
I'm telling you, man. This is the last phone call for me, too, bro. And I just phoned you to tell you, bro, good luck. And may God bless both of us. Yeah?
I love you so much, man, and let's make it happen.
Man, God bless, bro.
Yeah,
see you soon.
Amen.
Bye.
Blessings.
Bye.
Malik, this is a tune-up for Usyk Wilder, presumably, but I love Derek Chisora's career. I know he hasn't gotten over the top, but man, he has fought everybody. He always puts up a good fight. He's like the gatekeeper. It's true if you can get past him. How dangerous is this for Wilder at this point in both of their careers?
Well, first I want to speak on something that you said. I think a couple weeks ago you said, well, for Wilder to be fighting Usyk, something should be in between that. And so now he has Derek Chisora that he's fighting. I think it's a dangerous fight for both. I think Derek Chisora has been having better momentum thus far concerning his last fight and better wins. But Deontay is dangerous. We all know he have the equalizer. But the whole thing with people is saying is like, does that equalizer still exist? I think if it does exist, then he's going to put Derek Chisora to sleep. But if it don't exist, then it could be a pretty long night for him. Because Derek Chisora is a pain in the ass. I know him from sparring him. I know him from fighting him, and both of them. And
what makes him so difficult?
Relentless, constantly coming in constantly walking to you, going to the body.
He could take a spanking though. He could take a spanking.
You didn't want to get paused.
He could take a spanking.
At our age, we're worried about this.
I know, but man, these kids be having.
Bomb squad! I'm betting on Wilder. You want to make a bet?
We can make a bet.
He put him to sleep.
Yeah, we can make a bet.
He put the boy
I
to
don't
sleep.
think so.
Mike, you betting? You gonna take
I think
Shady?
Chisora is more fresh than Wilder. Yeah.
So you have to go on a distance or stop it?
Maybe, I'm not sure about that.
Mike Tyson is launching an invite-only amateur showcase in Vegas this March. What effect could this have on American amateur boxing?
Mike ain't invited.
A good effect. What's real good about it is, I believe him and Lennox is kind of doing the same thing. Lennox has his foundation of amateur boxing strong that he's a part of in Jamaica. Mike is doing it here. I think it's about time Mike got involved in something like this, and I think it can only be an addition to amateur boxing. So I'm looking forward to it.
I gotta say, I love Mike Tyson's second act in American life, right? Like I would have guessed that Mike Tyson would be long gone by now. The way his life was going. And not only is he around, he went from a basically destructive force, which he'll tell you about earlier in his life, to I think a constructive force. Like Mike has transformed himself to like a lovable character.
Yes.
Almost like George Foreman did, right? Both at one point the most menacing guy in the world, and now he's a productive person. You know,
this is
it's
great.
nice
This
to
is great
see.
for boxing. You know why? Because my son is 13. I show him a picture with me and Mike. I say, you know what this is? It says Mike Tyson. If you got guys that's 13, 12, 11, right, compared to dudes that's 20, going to his.
And your prime was in the 80s?
You see what I'm saying? He's big and great for boxing, for sure.
The Ring Awards are taking place this Friday night in New York, and
I'm gonna be
am
there.
hosting. That's it. That's the news story. Now everyone say how great it is that I'm hosting.
Right.
Everyone, isn't it great?
Looking forward to seeing you host.
Zuffa 2 is the.
speaking of me, is this Sunday. Some great action fights, including the main event at this moment between Jose Valenzuela and Diego Torres. Cop, I got to say, Valenzuela and Torres could be the main. It's an action fight. It could be the co-main. It could open the main card because the other two fights on the main card are outstanding.
Volstik on that card, right?
Yeah. Vojdik is fighting.
Volstik, yeah.
He's in very tough. I think the best fight on the card is Boachuk and Batayev.
No question. This is a much better top to bottom card. When I say top to bottom, I mean the main card, the 3 fights, than the inaugural one, in my opinion. I love the Boachuk and Butayev fight. That's my favorite fight on the card, but I also love the Vojdik and Hadarad fight.
Yep. Yes.
Kalajdzic always brings it, and they have a common opponent in Better BF.
You know, I think about like when I talk about the UFC brand, what the UFC brand is more than anything, especially now that everything's off pay-per-view, right? Everything's on, yes, it's on streaming, but everyone has these streaming platforms. What the UFC is really saying to people is, we know you have your cell phone with everything on it, reels and everything. We know you have a million different options. Will you invest your time with us? We're asking for a couple hours out of your night. Is that a good, when at the end of the night you have to feel that was a good investment of my time, the most precious thing, right?
That's how I felt at the UFC the other night.
Of your attention. Butayev and Boachuk, you pronounce it better than me. This card promises to be an excellent investment of your time.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, the DAZN boxing schedule for the weekend. Obviously a stacked card at Madison Square Garden, headlined by Ring Magazine Junior Welterweight Championship fight between Teofimo Lopez, the champ, and Shakur Stevenson, rising in weight. What a fight that is. A stacked card, the return of Keyshawn Davis taking on Jermaine Ortiz. I mentioned how Teo has fought guys that even if you took the top names off, he still has a resume. That's one of the guys. Carlos Adonis against Ammo Williams. Also earlier that day, number 4 junior middleweight Bakram Murtalia.
Wait, you got it, man.
Murtalia faces Josh Kelly in Newcastle. See, Josh Kelly easy for me.
That's easy, yeah.
Me too.
That's a quality fight, by the way, Max. Murtalia somehow has not fought since he had that big upset knockout over Tim Tszyu to win a title in October of 2024. Josh Kelly, very smooth boxer. He boxed from the outside, was stopped by David Avanesian a couple of years ago. I'm excited for that fight. I think it's going to be a good one.
Great fight.
Yes. Right? That does it for us. For Malik Scott, Mike Coppinger, Shady McCoy. I'm Max Keller, and tune in next week where we will be joined by Devin Haney, making his debut in that chair. Thanks for watching. This is Inside the Ring.
Hey, y'all tuck your shirts in when you get here. Y'all change.